and I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nierenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. Now today I'm doing something with the 600LT I've also wanted to do for a long time, ever since I got it, and that is take it to VF Engineering to put this bad boy on the dyno. Whew, she is looking sexy sitting here in this lighting right now. Mclaren is known for essentially underrating their cars. They just happen to be a lot quicker than their horsepower numbers from the factory suggest. This was proven by tons of dyno tests of Mclaren 720Ss, showing that they pretty much had the same wheel horsepower as they did crank horsepower, which means McLaren underrated them. Whether this was to make P1 owners feel better about themselves or McLaren has a unique way of measuring horsepower, I'm not exactly sure, but one thing's for certain, I want to see exactly how much power the 600LT makes. Now, according to McLaren from the factory, it's got a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged V8 that makes 592 horsepower and 457 pound-feet of torque. Now, using rear-wheel drive, drivetrain loss approximations of, let's say, 15% drivetrain loss, we're going to talk to Nick all about that to see what his estimate of the drivetrain loss is on the Mclaren 600LT. These cars are incredibly efficient. It's closer to 12%, but regardless, if we take 15% off of 592 horsepower, we get 503 horsepower approximately to the wheels. I want you guys to take a guess what the dyno readouts are going to be on the 600LT in the comment section below. I'm thinking somewhere around 540 to 550 horsepower at the wheels, but I guess we'll find out. I'm also going to my favorite watch dealer, Watch Expo Newport Beach, to get this thing checked out, as well as take a look at some other timepieces. I know you guys have enjoyed some watch-related videos in the past, so let me know if you do want more of that, and I can certainly bring some watch content to the channel. Bringing my watch box and papers just in case, because it turns out, and I figured this would happen, that my watch has actually gone substantially up in value since I bought it because of its limited quantity. So if the price is right, I might let this watch go and try something different. I like mixing it up. I find that so awesome though, that things like cars and watches at the highest end can actually be legitimate investments. A lot more fun to drive a car or wear a watch every day and make money than watch the stock market grow, in my opinion anyways. And off we go. Ooh, I'm loving the color on that SQ5, kind of British racing green. That is gorgeous. I low-key like this HHR color as well. Kind of a cool sand vibe to it. Look at that, only my rear right tire is up to temperature. Interesting. An hour into my journey to VF Engineering, and I gotta say, these Senna seats are unbelievably comfortable, even on longer trips. I'll let you know, I'll give you a little update after the about 5-hour round trip to VF and back in traffic. But everyone who has ridden in this car has been incredibly impressed with how comfortable the seats are, especially in stark contrast to the way they look. They're unbelievably aggressive and thin, and the bolstering is crazy, but they just seem to fit really well. Here we are, pulling up to VF. A lot of Lambos outside. Pretty sweet lineup we got going on. Now, I believe this matte black Huracan is actually the owner of VF, Nick's personal car. He finally decided to get a Performante. It's soon to be supercharged. They've got so many supercharging projects going on right now that they haven't been able to get to his own, but they just actually did a lap of thermal raceway in a stock Huracan, and once this is supercharged, they're going to compare the lap times, and I am so excited to see the results between the two. Obviously, the supercharged car is going to be quite a bit faster. Let's head in the shop and see what they got going on. We got Nick here. How's it going, man?
Great, Parker. Good to see you.
It feels like it's been a long time.
It actually has, though.
Yeah, and since then, you got a new car, so congratulations on the Performante.
Thank you.
That's freaking exciting.
Yeah, it's a 2019.
Awesome. And then I got a new car as well, 600LT.
Amazing. I love the MSO package you've got.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So, It's actually the same MSO color as the 675LT we're working on right now, which is a coincidence.
Is it in the shop?
It is, yeah.
Oh, no way. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. But we've been tuning 600LTs for a while, so since they came out.
So you guys have been like more in the McLaren scene recently. Is that kind of something you're pushing?
Yeah, we've been focusing a lot on Lamborghinis, Huracans, software tuning. And a lot more McLaren owners have been drawn to us, looking at the kind of performance numbers and the consistency, the power, and just, you know, overall happiness.
Yeah, and the unbelievable part is how much power you can make on these twin turbo cars with just software updates and exhaust. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, the cars are so well engineered, I'm finding that they really respond so well to just minor bumps in boost with the software calibration. It's just fantastic how well the car responds, and the fact that it's so well built and it's got so much tolerance left in it that we can just squeeze a little bit more power out of it and to make it a little bit more fun for all the McLaren owners out there.
Cool. So what's the process of dynoing this? Do we have to do anything special, or?
Yeah, well, this is an interesting one. Your car, the 600s are loaded with so much carbon that there's a lot of trims and accessories around the car that often stop us or prevent us from accessing the chassis, because we need to access the chassis of the car to strap to it and mount it to the dyno safely so we can accelerate at full throttle to redline on the dyno. So if we have a look at the back, it's got this tremendous one-piece carbon fiber shell.
Yeah, it's absurd.
We've had them off many times, and it's actually a complete piece, and you'll probably see it. The whole piece comes off in one
Wow.
part. And it gives us full access to the frame, the aluminum space frame of the car, and we can mount our straps to it and secure it to the dyno. So we always dyno McLarens on our Mustang four-wheel drive dyno. It's got an eddy current load bearing module, and it's, in our opinion, the best way to simulate what the car is going to go through in the real world when it's driven on the street or the track. So dynoing the cars in four-wheel drive dyno mode is, in our opinion, the best way to also tune them, because then we can load up the engine with the kind of load it can expect to see on the street. So our tuning changes and the tests we do to verify those changes are as closely and as accurately to what the car will undergo or see when it's on the street with those changes.
And then I approximated just my random internet knowledge that there's something around 15% drivetrain loss on a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, well, it depends on the dyno. The dyno is measuring the power at the rear wheels. Well, in this case, we're going to run it at four wheels. But the way that the dyno manufacturer has calibrated their software really kind of is going to determine what the car puts out in terms of a number. So different dynos have different software that's created by different manufacturers, and they'll all have their own different ways of calculating horsepower.
Sure.
So it's hard to really, or it's unfair to really specify a specific drivetrain loss.
Okay.
Unless we take the engine out.
Sure.
It, and that's the scientific way of doing that. But what we can do is we can see a before and after.
Exactly.
And then we can compare to the manufacturer's flywheel numbers just for a giggle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what the baseline numbers for this car is and see what it's like on the dyno.
Great.
Let's head on inside VF. We got a Performante on the dyno. We've got Garage Goals Official's beautiful lowered 720S on Anarchy wheels, full Vorsteiner kit, tuned by VF. This thing is a monster, and check this out, guys. Almond Doug's Lantana Purple 675LT. I have never seen a Lantana Purple 675 before. This looks absolutely gorgeous. Got to do a little walk around. Now, the owner of this car actually had one of the original VF supercharged Huracans. He actually had the VF 900 horsepower package. Seems like a really cool guy. That thing is beautiful. Getting this tune, once that's finished, I think we're gonna do a little video with the 675 and the 600LT. But damn, that looks absolutely gorgeous. And note, he's got the matte finish carbon fiber, and that's something when I get my car fully clear broad, I'm thinking of doing the carbon fiber in a satin finish. It really looks really, really cool. Since I'm in the area and it's gonna take a little while for them to take off the front bumper, I figured I'd stop by Watch Expo Newport Beach and see what they got in their inventory. All right, we're taking Nick's tuned C63. If you guys didn't see the video of this racing the E63, this thing is really dang fast. All right, let's set up. Here we are. Just pulled up to Watch Expo. I freaking love these guys. Genuine people, and they are car fanatics as well. I'm gonna do like a quick, tiny little review of this Patek Philippe. So this is my Patek Philippe 5980R that I've had for about 6 months now. Absolutely love the watch. Incredibly classy, feels great on the wrist. And it's one of those watches where if you know what it is, it garners a lot of compliments. And if you don't know what it is, which 99.9% of people don't, they only know Rolex, then it goes completely unnoticed. I ended up selling my Audemars Piguet because of quality control issues, and I wanted to try out a different brand. Patek Philippe is part of the holy trinity in the watch world. We've got Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin. Those are kind of the Hyper 3 top of the line watch brands. I love how intricate the details are on the back side of the Patek Philippe. I almost wish it was on the front. I've loved wearing this watch, although there are two things that I hate about it. One is that there is no sort of casing or ceramic coating on the bezel like there was on my Rolex GMT or the Audemars Piguet. So as you can see, the watch face scratches really easily because it is solid gold. The second thing I really don't like, you'll notice that it says 3 here, it is not the third, is that you can't change the date unless you have the specific Patek Philippe date tool to click in this little button there. I don't want to use another tool because I don't want to scratch the watch, and that piece is so easy to lose. Obviously, I don't bring it with me. Now it's time to head in the store and check out what they got. One of my buddies who works there's beautiful M3. Absolutely love the color and spec on this bad boy. So I think we've determined my next watch. Now we just have to find one. It's gonna be a fun process. And we are back at VM. Getting the rear of the 600LT taken apart to get on the dyno. It's crazy that for a car with this much power that's rear wheel drive, it's got relatively skinny rear tires. They're only 285 millimeters across, but those Trofeo Rs are so sticky. It's cool to see what the bumper looks like from the backside when it's not on the 600LT. Check this out, fully carbon fiber. The entire thing is one piece, the diffuser and the bumper. Pretty crazy. Pulling her up onto the dyno. All right, the 600LT is all set up to do some dyno pulls. Let's see what kind of numbers it puts down. Here we go, round number 2. Those downshifts. All right, guys, the results are in. Time to go over them. All right, we got Gary here to run us through what the horsepower and torque curves look like and what the results were. So what do we got up on the screen here?
Yeah, so we can take a look here. The red line indicates horsepower at the wheels. The blue line indicates torque. So as you can see, the horsepower just continues to grow all the way to red line. If we click here, it'll tell you what the actual numbers at the wheels were. Looks like the car's making really consistent power. Between the two runs, we got 506 and 507 horsepower back to back. And torque is great. We're making 476 foot-pounds of torque and then 479 again back to back, which shows really solid consistency on this car. So we'll have to wait and see what it does later.
So what would you say approximate drivetrain loss? Nick was talking about the fact that these rollers on the Mustang dyno, because it's an all-wheel drive dyno, are connected, so it puts extra load on the car.
Yeah, drivetrain loss is pretty much an estimated figure. The only real way to determine drivetrain loss is to take an engine measurement.
Yeah.
The engine measured on an engine dyno and then compare that to the chassis dyno. But we can get an estimated figure by looking at what McLaren advertises the car at, seeing what we actually generate on the rollers, and then figuring out the factor. It looks like we're very close to about 18 to 20% drivetrain loss in four-wheel drive mode on a Mustang dyno.
Gotcha. All right, so according to McLaren, the car makes 592 crank horsepower. Then if we multiply it by 0.85 to get the 15% drivetrain loss, that puts us at 503 horsepower to the wheels, right around what we got on the dyno. Now the torque figures are actually way higher than what McLaren quoted. So if we go the other way, 507 horsepower divided by 0.85, that puts us at 596 horsepower, exactly what it should be. So there you guys have it, dyno numbers for a stock 600LT. Now the numbers get a little bit more insane if you approximate 20% drivetrain loss. We'll try that out. 507 divided by 0.8, that puts us at 633, so about 40 horsepower more than advertised. But it looks like it's not giving that 50 extra, 75 extra horsepower that maybe I was hoping for secretly. Shout out to VF Engineering for hooking me up on the dyno. Seriously, if you've got a McLaren, a Lamborghini, a BMW, a Mercedes, an Audi, basically anything, and you want it faster with reliability, VF is the way to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.